So welcome to Data Ki Shiksha. So in this session, I will be talking about introduction to data science. So basically this is a demo video for those people who wants to enter into a data science field. They can easily take away these courses and they can also understand our way of teaching in data science. So in this session, I will be talking about data science in brief. Also, I will be talking about eligibility criteria and about the background knowledge also, because it's good to understand everyone's need. So as we are following our structure that we will be having only 5 students per class, so we want to keep it as minimal as possible, because we have a different way of serving to our students. So that's why we have kept this number. Okay, so let's move forward. So before starting the lecture, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Ankur. I have around 3+ years of experience till date. And about my qualifications, I have done BSc in Mathematics and Computer Science from University of Delhi. I have also done Masters in Applied Mathematics from MIT University. And I am a certified data scientist too from one of the data science institution. So currently my working domain, I'm serving as a data science consultant to various US clients. And if you talk about my hobby, so I like to teach. So I've been into data science training from last 1.5 years. All right. Okay. So let's talk about data science in brief. Now, if you guys have heard a term called Sandhi Vichhed in Hindi, Sandhi Vichhed, if you know, when we break two words, like a single word into two words. Okay, so let's split data science into two. So let's talk about data first and then we'll talk about the science. Okay, so in data, every day we encounter different types of data. Now, because every day the data is growing with a fast speed, right? So data can be numeric. The numeric data means, if I talk about your age, so age is a number, right? Age is a number, and it can be any number, but it should be a natural number. It should be a natural number, because like I am saying only with respect to age, because you cannot write 11.5 years, right? In data science, either we write 11, or either we write 12, or either we write 10. Like we write complete whole number. Okay, so yes, this is a form of data, and that is a numeric data. Okay, so when we talk about the categories, so A category, B category, C category, D category. So let's say A category is for those cars who belongs to Maruti. Let's say B category is for those cars who belongs to BMW. C category belongs to, let's say, it can be Mercedes, is for the example I'm taking, and D, let's say I'm taking Hyundai. Okay, so these are different cars which belongs to different category. Okay, now how I can say that this is a data? Now the data is not a numeric, first of all, right? These are just alphanumeric characters, right? So when we have the data in the form of the alphabets, that type of data is called categorical data. First of all, categorical data. And now to understand it more better, I will be taking you to the next video sessions where I will be talking about different types of data. So for now, we have seen numeric data, we have seen categorical data. Now you guys have seen GIFs also in WhatsApp, and like when you send some GIFs, some recorded video snapshots, right? So that is also a type of a data. Videos, that is also a type of data. Photos, that is also a type of data. Now we have photos with different formats, right? PNG format, JPG format, JPEG format, right? We have videos with different formats like MP4. We even even we have voice recording also, which comes with different formats. So all these data, like all these things comes under the data category. Okay, now when we talk about science, means terminology, right? Terminology. Okay, so when we talk about the data terminology, in brief, that means in brief, I'm talking about the insights, right? I'm talking about the results, right? I'm talking about the pattern also. Now we have a voice pattern, right? We have a voice pattern. We have signals also, right? We have signals also. So when we talk about these type of data, then these category comes under a data science thing. Okay, that's why it is very important to understand every type of data if you are learning data science. Okay, all right. So I'm introducing data here. So as I told you, data especially refers to the numbers, but you can mean the words, sounds, images. Okay, but the data should be machine readable. Now, you have heard about the binary data, right? Binary data means when the data is only in two forms, 0 and 1, right? Now, many of you, if you are from electronics background, so you must have learned about gates, right? 0 1, like OR gate, AND gate, NOR gate, XOR, XNOR. So these type of gates accept only two types of input, either 0 or 1. Now for 0 we say, let's say I'm saying just for like I'm just supposing it, 0 could be true and 1 could be false. Okay, so if you see a output that is 0 in machine, that means machine is saying to you true. Let's say you have some statement that you sent to the machine and machine is saying uh, let's say true. Let's say true, that means the backend means it is having a 0 bit. Okay, similarly for the false, the backend it is having a 1 bit. Okay, so that means machine can understand only these two numbers only, that is 0 and 1. Here you can see, right? And about the populating data terms, if I say IoT, IoT means Internet of Things. Okay, the best example is Wi-Fi routers, or you can say drones. Drones are also IoT devices. So even these devices are also producing data, and they're highly accelerating the growth of it. Okay, so every day 2.5 quintillion bytes of data is generated. Now you can imagine the amount of data that every day is generating. When you receive a call or when you call someone, that is also a type of data is recording at the back end. When you send a text message, or even when you like a page on WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram, that is also a type of input received as a data. Okay, so so that means everything around us, if it is related to a machine, that means we are recording data, and these data are recorded by big companies. Now those companies, you can say Amazon, uh, Microsoft, Flipkart, because when you buy something in a cart, you add some product in your cart, that is also a type of data. That means your input is being recorded, that yes, you add this particular product into the cart, whether you buy or not, but your inputs have been saved. Okay, so this is all about data that we like encounter in our day-to-day life. And if I talk about the sources of the data generation, of course, social media platform is the biggest data resource in today's life. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your WhatsApp, YouTube channels, and even like when you like something on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitters. So there are so many data generation resources on social media where you interact with different peoples, right? Okay, about the sensors also. So if you have seen, uh, let's say, okay, I'll, because I'm more interested into cars, so we have seen that in a car bumpers, on your back bumper, even on your front bumpers, we have some sensors installed, right? Now these sensors have some range. they have some range, right? So when you reverse gear your car, in front of your car you got some meter, right? Some readings, let's say 1.3 meter. That means your car bumper or your car body is 1.3 meter away from the tough resource, or a resource can be anything, right? It is just calculating the distance. Okay, so this distance is also calculated and is being stored and is being showed to us, right? Similarly, cell phones, as I told you, sending some message, receiving some message, calling someone, like playing some songs, like whatever the activity happen in phones is also recorded as a data. GPS controls, right? Now GPS, when we talk about latitude, longitude, right? So in longitude and latitude, if I give you longitude, latitude with all the parameters, then you can easily identify my locations. So that is also a type of data which is being recorded. If you're purchasing something on some e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, right? So they are also recording your data, even your clicks, when you click something on the e-commerce platform, that is also a type of data that they are storing at the back end. So okay, the best question is that how many clicks on a particular tab in 1 hour? Now that is the best question. So if I want to monitor a product and that product has some tab button, now I want to see that how many people are visiting this product and how many are clicking on it. That means, suppose if I'm visiting on this page, I definitely have to click here, right? So I can easily monitor how many people are coming to see this thing and how many are ordering. Now that is the later part, how many are ordering or not ordering, right? I can easily monitor those clicks, and then I can perform some business analysis so that I can make it more attractive, more sellable in future. Now talking about some search engines, so we have Google search engine, we have Yahoo search engine. When you search something on Google, so again that is also that, like you're sending a request to the client and client is responding back to you. That means whatever the query you have entered on Google. So let's say if I'm entering a chocolate, so if I am searching for some chocolate, I get a web page with different chocolate names, with different websites with each and every links. Okay. When we talk about emails, so we have received emails also, we have sent email also, we have some emails in our outbox, we have spams also, right? So all these type of data are being recorded on Google server, right? Google server. Media streaming, so when we talk about Netflix, when we talk about Hotstar, so now you guys have seen so many uh, like platforms where you can watch all the OTT platform movies, like your, especially your Bollywood movies, you can see on Netflix, you can see on Hotstar, right? In healthcare domain, now today, because this is a corona pandemic going on, so healthcare is on the top today. So now they have lots of data to analyze about to predict the like coronavirus in a body. So China is on like they have the best machine which they have installed on their airport. Like if you like stand in front of that machine, they can easily detect that whether you're corona positive, corona negative, right? Even in Saudi Arabia also we have a machine where a blood droplet is put on the slide, and this slide is sent to the machine. Now the scanned image of this blood droplet will be sent to the model which is trained on the coronavirus blood samples. Okay, the people who are having coronavirus, their blood sample images, it will be reshuffled and will be checked that whether this particular slide is having some similarity with the other images or not. Now if they are finding some similarities, that means the person whose blood is on this slide is having a corona positive or corona negative, depends. Okay. Now why I said it depend, because they must be having some metrics about false positive, false negative, which we will be talking about when we will go for a machine learning, like specifically to machine learning. Okay, the next thing is IoT. As I told you about Wi-Fi routers, your drones, right? And they're like everything which is related to internet today. That means they are providing you the data in lot. Okay. So this is all about the sources of a data, and they are generating data in a very high speed. Okay. Now, again, this is like a you can say not a updated one, but yes, you can imagine the amount of data they have today. In Snapchat, we have around 2.4 million snaps created every day. 86,223 spent online, a dollar. This much of amount is spent online on e-commerce platform. Netflix is having how much hours watched? 2,66,000. On Google, how many search queries happened? 3.7 millions, right? On Facebook, how much login happens? 9,73,000. So you can imagine the, you can say, a tsunami of data is there, right? So in like, and this is all recorded in 60 seconds. Now you can think, in 1 minute they are having this much of amount of data. Then in 1 hour they must be having some 60 times of this. 60 times of this. You can just multiply 60 times of this, right? Okay, so that is why data science is very much popular today, because what they are doing now, earlier it was not happening. What they were doing, they were collecting the data, right? Now if I'm collecting the data, that means I'm having some storage also, okay, where I'm keeping all the data. From where I'm collecting, I'm just storing it somewhere, and then I'm like taking a bunch of data from this populated data. Now this is called population, basically population data, and this is called a sample data, because I cannot analyze population in one go. I have to take some different samples from this population, but I have to make sure that each and every population contribution must be there in sample. We will talk about population sample in brief. Okay, so just for the understanding, we are taking this. So once I take the sample, and then I'm doing some analysis. Okay, I'm doing some analysis. So let's say if I talk about an Instagram post, so how many people, let's say the post was a video, so how many people have watched this video, how many people have commented on this video, how many people have watched this video for the first 5 seconds, right? For the first 5 seconds, how many people have saved this video, how many people have forwarded this video. So there are so many questions occurs on one particular objective. Okay, that's why business analysis is very important, and it cannot be taken like in a normal way. It's very important because we are first of all handling someone's data. Now data is a very security part. We cannot play with data very easily. Just for like for their better business, we have to understand the data. Very important. It's very important to understand. Okay, as I told you, data is the new fuel. Now why Amazon, Facebook, Google, Tesla, you know very well, right? Your SpaceX program is also going on. Okay, SpaceX means now Elon Musk wants to innovate something new. So just keep connected with SpaceX program. Every day they are doing something new. Your Uber. So there are so many companies who are actually recording the data, and they are analyzing the data and giving you the better insights. That's why we are like, our life are very easy today. We can easily get the cab, even if the cab is parked next to me, right? So I'm just making it more simpler. Okay, so what is data science now? So you can see this guy, right? So he's doing some analysis, some kind of plot is there, some kind of spreaded plot is there, rectangles you can see, globe, and like trying to find out something. The same type of work a data scientist do. Okay, so when you do a detailed study of the flow of information, that means a flow of data from a massive amounts of data present in an organization's repository. Your organization can be any organization. It can be a small, it can be a big organization. So every organization keeps data today for the analysis, for the better business in future. Now it involves meaningful insights, that means some deep analysis, some deep analysis, right? From raw and unstructured data. Raw and unstructured data, I'll tell you later, because there's a difference between structured data and unstructured data in data science, which is processed through analytical, programming, and business skills. Okay, let's see what these things are. So let's talk about the importance of data science. So data science helps brand to understand their customers in much enhanced and empowered manner. That means if I want to understand the customer's need for a particular product, so let's say if I'm having a shelf, and let's say this is the product A, product B, product C, product D, and product E. But I can see from the, let's say from the past 3 months, I was observing that only the product B is being sold down. Rest all these products are as it is. That means because I have to stock every product, because I know that they are going to be sold by one day, but I want to make my productivity much more faster. So what I did, I recorded the data for the last 3 months, and what I observed, that means an insight. What I observed is the product B is having more sellability as compared to product A, product C, product D, and product E. That means in future, if I have to keep a stock, I'll keep more stock for the product B and some lesser stock for A, C, D, and E. Okay. Let's talk about the second point here. One of the most important aspect of data science is that its findings and results can be applied to almost any sector. That means today healthcare sector is on top, right? So healthcare sector, your traveling sector, your education sector, your if I talk about some robotics also, they are driven by data only, right? It is very accessible to almost all sector. There's a large amount of data available in the world today, as I show you the previous slide. And utilizing that data is very important actually to make a proper use, so that you can easily cross check with your organization and can target for the future customers. Okay, if you are a retail organization. So data science can also help us to meet the challenges of the increasing demands and sustainable future while ensuring the best solution. This point is very also important, because if you understand the diagnostic analytics and you did some descriptive on that, and then you are finding out some good solutions for your organization, that means your future is sustainable. That means you can easily plan for the future for your organization, that how much resources you need, how you can map those resources to different types of data. Okay, if I talk now here, you can see that their analytical approach is there to understand the deeper insights. Now let's see those analytical tools here. Okay, so analytical tool means the tools which are required to analyze the data. Okay, that means the coding platforms where you can easily interact with data, you can easily play with the data. So most importantly today, Python and your R is very important. Okay, I'll tell you the difference between these two programming languages later, but these two are the trending languages. Okay, but never forget Excel. It is very important, because when RStudio and Python was not there, Excel was there, right? So still bigger clients have their model ready in their Excel, because you cannot easily you can say you can't diminish the knowledge which you have on Excel. You can't easily transform a knowledge into Python, right? So as a backup, everyone have a backup on Excel, that how they can like visualize their data, because Excel are almost having all the functionalities. You can easily build a machine learning model in Excel. I'll show you later. Okay, so if you are dealing with big data also, so big data can be dealt with Hadoop platform. We have a Spark engine also for that. MySQL is also a sequential query language. That means when you query a language, that means if I'm saying find out those people in my organization who are having a salary greater than 50,000. So I'll write a straight away query for that. Okay. So I'll tell you later. We have Cloudflare platform. Now MapReduce is some functionality in Hadoop. Okay, HTML you know very well, right? To design a web page, a very simple web page that we learned in our school. So these are some important tools that we use to analyze the data. And today, knowledge of cloud is very important. So in our core sessions, we have also included a cloud sessions so that you can easily deploy your models on cloud, because GCP offers 3 months of 3 months of free cloud services to everyone. Okay. So if I talk about data science in demand today, so you can see Python is very in high demand. R is little less. Now the basic difference between them is why Python is most popular today, because when we talk about AI, means when you specifically talk about machine learning, NLP, under NLP when you talk about deep learning also, when you create their models, those models are highly created in Python, because this is friendly, because all the libraries required for machine learning, required for deep learning, for NLP are very much available in Python. Okay. When we talk about R, means when you talk about mathematics very specifically. So if you are, let's say, for example, you have done some MSc in mathematics, or even if you are planning to take MSc mathematics in future, definitely you have to undergo through this R language, because again it makes your life very easy. Because if you want to plot a 10x graph, sin x graph, even if you guys have heard about MATLAB, like these tools are very important to understand the mathematics in a digital manner. Means we always draw sine curve, cos curve, excuse me, digital curve. So when I want to understand it more clearly, because I cannot draw Cartesian plane every time, so MATLAB can help you, R language can help you. But when you talk about machine learning, you can create a model of machine learning in R also. That's not a problem. The third one comes a SQL. SQL is very important because, okay, let's talk about Amazon. So if you are working in Amazon, SQL is very important, because you have to, because they will give access to you to the some databases where you have to fetch the data and then you have to do some analysis. So when you require this skill also, because you have to fetch the data from the data stores, so that knowledge is also required, because you cannot actually pull all the data from your data store to for just for the analysis. You have to specifically find out some particular table, right, for your analysis. So it's very important. For big data, Hadoop is very important, Spark engines, and you can see the graph is trending downwards here, because it depends on the highly demanded programming languages today. Okay. Data science is also creating impressions, of course, as I told you earlier, in social media. Now every day, okay, I'll give the best example. Let's say I was searching for some bag, and I was searching for you can say a school bag. Okay. And let's say in my phone, Instagram application is also installed, Facebook application is also installed. Okay. And YouTube anyways is by default. Okay. So let's say I searched for a bag and the bag category is a school bag. Okay. On Google, I was searching on Google search engine. So I searched for it, and like have gone through some different web pages who are showing school bags. Okay. Now when I close the applications, and let's say in a day-to-day life, when we see posts on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, let's say when I open Instagram, I saw the recommendation of a school bag as an ad. Okay. even in my stories, when I scrolling my stories, I saw an ad, a recommendation basically, of a school bag from a particular firm. A firm can be any ABC firm. Okay. Similarly, when I open Facebook also, I saw that I'm getting some recommendations that you can buy your bag. Let's say some bags are present on Myntra. So Myntra will be some marketing some their bags. Let's say on you can say Snapdeal. There are so many platforms where you can easily check for a school bag. Okay, so you can see the ads of these firms. That means you search something on Google and you're getting recommendations on different social media platform also. That is actually called machine learning. That is called machine learning. A very simple example. Why? Now, I'll give you as like a one line reason here, because it's a very you can say deep topic where we have to enter. So I'll give you the best example here. Now, yes, a machine learning is there. Okay, so when you search something on Google, that means you have entered something on Google. That input is stored. Your input is stored there. Okay, now Google is also applying some machine learning at the back end. Whatever Google is also trying to help you. That means, of course, I am the user. That's why I'm searching on Google. Google is trying to help me. Okay, earlier it was not happening, but now when you enter something on Google, it stores your input, and this happens in milliseconds. It stores your input and then it starts showing you the results. Not only on Google, they're also showing results on Instagram, on Facebook, where like, because they have some you can say collaborations with these platform also, right? Because that is actually a supervised machine learning here. Supervised, that means already it is supervised by someone. That means my target is to buy a bag. And I'm getting recommendation from different platforms, right? So I'm getting it is almost getting supervised, right? My input is stored. My input was to search a bag. That why I'm searching, because I want to buy it, and the target was to buy. Of course, searching is the input, search and buy is the input, and the target is, of course, I have to purchase it, right? I have to purchase it. That's why I'm getting recommendation on different platform. It is trying to show me, and that's how your mind psychology is impacted actually, because you are able to see the same type of things on different platform. That means your input is stored, your input is also manipulated, and they are showing you the best results. Google is trying to help you. So machine is learning your inputs, and machine is throwing the outputs to you. Understand? If you guys have any doubt here, you can easily leave a comment, and I'll get back to you on the particular topic. Okay. Okay, and if I talk about the data science, it's a multidisciplinary. It is not a single thing that just studying mathematics and statistics, you can become a data scientist or you can enter into a data science firm. Apart from learning mathematics and statistics, you need some programming skills also. And you can see domain knowledge also, right? So if you are working in e-commerce, if you are working in e-commerce platform, you must be having some knowledge about the product you are selling. Actually, the product is on the let's say the platform is Flipkart. Okay, the platform is a Flipkart. The product is showed on the Flipkart. Now somebody would be selling this product. That means a seller, because sellers are onboarded on the Flipkart platform and they can sell their items very easily, right? So I want to understand. Now the seller wants to understand, and even a scientist, a data scientist in Flipkart also wants to understand the requirements. Basically, I just want to know about the product. That's why I can sell it in a much better way. Okay, so domain knowledge is also important. Coming to the mathematics and statistics part, it is almost like you need a linear algebra. And don't worry, it's not, I'm not saying the complete linear algebra, only some specific concepts in linear algebra. Okay, you need matrices knowledge, you need statistics knowledge also. Now statistics is also having a tougher level, medium level, and the like the smallest level also. Okay, so don't worry. And you need probability concepts. Okay, so we'll be talking about this much in our next video, actually not in this one, because I want to give much more clearance on this, that what actually we need in linear algebra in matrices. Because if I say that these are required, then without any without any knowledge on this, that how much deep I have to study matrices, I have to study statistics, probability, this doesn't make sense, right? Okay, yes, machine learning is a different thing here, which you will see later. Now if you see, if you have studied about the sets, right, this is A, this is B, this is C. That means to become a data scientist, that means this part, to become a data scientist, you need A also, you need B also, and you need C also. Okay, so some traditional research about the data, some software development you can do on the data. That means a platform you require. So it can be because either you can use Python or R or any other language on which you are comfortable, but highly recommended are these only. So how you can develop your applications. If it is a machine learning application, your domain knowledge is required. So these three things are very important. Okay, and to be a better, not, I'm not going to say a better or a good data scientist, just to be a data scientist you require this. You must be having a knowledge of diverse technologies. Your statistical knowledge should be good one. That means it should sounds good. Your business skills, that means in whatever domain you are working, either it is financial domain or e-commerce domain or healthcare domain, it can be any domain which you can work if you're having a skills. About the visualization skills, now visualization skills means, so if you remember the example that I collected the data for 3 months for that particular stack A, B, C, D. Now I'm just visualizing it. Okay, I'm not giving the numbers here, and even I don't remember what I saw. The B graph is going like this. Okay, and the A graph is like this. Even the C graph is also like this, and even the D graph is also like this. Okay, let's say this is first month, second month, third month, first, second, third month, first, second, third month, first, second, third month. This is for B, for A, for C, and for D. I can see in the third month the sale of the B is increasing, but for A, for C, and for D it is decreasing, right? This is called visualization. That means by just looking at the graph, by just looking at the picture, I can easily estimate, roughly estimate, I can take that yes, B has some increment from the month second to third. Okay, this is an important insight. This is an important insight here. Okay, so in general, a data science lifecycle consists of these widgets. So to understand any objective, objective can be any. That means I want to understand the past behavior of a product A, that means this is my objective. Okay, past behavior means, let's say it was it could be any product. Let's say a face cream, a facial cream. Okay, let's take a facial cream example. So I want to see, let's say I have taken 6 months data. Okay, 6 months data. So I want to understand the analysis. That means to do some analysis. That means for the future, I want to do some marketing of this product once again. Okay, this is the objective. This is the objective here, that a product A, which is a facial cream, I want to sell in different regions. In different regions, there are so many regions, right? Let's say there are so many regions in a particular state. I want to sell it in different region, but I want to sell it only and only if the behavior of this product from the last 6 months, it is good or not. Okay, so a business understanding is required for that particular objective. That means I have to briefly understand the behavior of a product A. Then I have to collect a data. That means a 6 month data I have to collect. After that, I have to prepare the data. Now don't think that when you collect a data is in a good form. Is in a good form. You cannot guarantee that. That means a data which is raw and unstructured, then it needs to be structured. It needs to be structured. We'll talk about this later. It needs to be structured. So it cannot be like a data cannot be moving here and there. Moving here and there means like it is not a properly managed. All right. So it should be properly prepared. Then you can do some analysis, exploratory data analysis. In short, it is EDA. Okay, so once you do the analysis, then you can easily go for the modeling. That means you can start creating model on that particular data. Once you create a model, now in this part you like apply machine learning, deep learning, or NLP. Okay, so once you apply the model, your model gives you some results. Now model always gives you the predictions. Okay, now let's say I want to understand that how much my model, like how much accurate is my model. Basically, like I have created a model, but how much good it is. So I have to do some evaluations on my model on some testing data. That means a data which is not trained here. There was some training data in this stage. My model is being created on a training data set. Now I have to do a testing. Okay, on a testing data set. Now once I evaluated my model, now basically in clear words, evaluation means if I'm getting a 99% accuracy on training data set, then I should actually receive some similar percentage. That means around 99 can also work, 98.9 can also work. Like I want to see that is it giving me the same accuracy on testing data set or not. So once I receive the testing dataset accuracy, I can go for the model deployment after discussing with the business teams. Okay, with business teams, we have business managers for different objectives. So once you have a discussion that my testing data set, your model is performing good, then you can easily go for the model deployment. Means you are productionizing your model. You are productionizing your model. Understand? Now once you productionize your model, then definitely a different objective will come by like in every 3 months or 6 months. All right, so this is how your data science life cycle follows. And this is basically arrow way. So in business understanding, you require a good knowledge about what? About data, about objective, right? Once you understand the objective clearly, you need the data understanding. After that, you have to prepare your data, that it should be structured. Actually, it should be structured. Once you see that your data is structured here, you have to go for the modeling part. That means just create some data science models, machine learning, deep learning, and NLP models. Then evaluate that model, that is it giving you the same accuracy or similar kind of accuracy on the testing data sets. So once you get the good accuracy, you can go for the deployment. All right, so once you get to the deployment part, you again get back to your objective things. Okay, now you can see these arrows also here. Okay, let's first see this arrow. So when I understood my objective, then I started thinking about the data also. Okay, so let's say the objective, let's not take the facial cream example here. Let's talk about watch. Okay, let's talk about the watch here. So let's say my objective was somehow related to watch. So I started imagining that to what type of data I will be getting related to a watch brands, okay, selling cost, everything. I start getting thinking. Then I go to the data understanding. That means the data will be provided to me to start linking my objective to that particular data set. Okay, here you can see data arrow is going back. That means you're not sufficient, you are not having a sufficient data related to that object. So you can ask your team to give you more data to understand it better. Similarly, once you start create a model, your model is again going back to the data preparation part. That means let's say you're getting some around 49% accuracy, but you think that it can be improved better, right? So you again have to go and do some data cleansing, data pre-processing and preparing, and then start applying modeling. Similarly, in evaluation, you can see it is directly going to the objective. That means when you evaluate data, it evaluates on the testing data sets. Test data set. That means your evaluation should work very much well on the data which was given to you at this stage. Okay, so we will like focus on each and every stage later. This is just the big overview that how a data science life cycle works. Okay, all right, so you can see the differences between data science and data analytics. So in data science means I'm saying a data scientist. Okay, and data analyst, I'm saying data analyst. I won't be going from point to point, otherwise it doesn't make sense, right? Okay, I'll give you a big overview. Data analyst, let's say I gave you some set of questions, question A, question B, question C, and so on. I gave you some question and you gave me the answers. That type of work is being done by data analyst. That means a data analyst major portion is into visualization. So if I want to know how much sale I have done in last week, that is the question. Now data analyst must be having access to that data. He can easily go and check, he or she can easily go and check out the data and can give you the answers within a minute. Okay, or even it will take some time to fetch some data and do some visualization, and will get back to you with good results. But in data scientist's case, what happens if the same question appears? Let's say the sale was very low. Let's say every month I am earning 5,000 rupees in my store, but in last week I earned only 45. In last month I earned only 4,500. Okay, so data scientists will be responsible to answer this also, but answering this with a reason. That what is the reason actually behind this 4,500 rupees only? Why not more than 5,000? Because as a business person, I will have to increase the business. My revenue will automatically gets increased, right? So a data scientist will come to you with a reason, with some deep analysis, We say factors responsible for the decreasing of revenue, right? So this is how you understand these things. Okay, so let's keep this lecture here only, and I hope you like the lecture. Okay, so thank you so much.